Hi guys, I'm a Forester here. Well, it's January 2018 and it's time for me to update my top 10 knife list. Now these are the top 10 knives that I would keep out of my collection if I could only keep 10 knives. I try to update this every January to include all the knives that I purchased in the previous year. And I will say that 3 of the knives that I purchased in 2017 have made it into the top 10 list. One knife that's always been in my top 10 list was sold just within the past week, and I'll mention that more later. Now, as always, I rank these knives on a number of factors, and I enjoy doing this for my whole collection. So I go through every knife in the collection, and it's a chance for me to review every knife that I own. But I rank them on form, function, of course price is a factor, attractiveness, is there any sentimental value to the knife? And so it's a number of factors. And I'll include a link to the video that I did last year because I think I did a better job of explaining that then. But the bottom line is, which knife would I keep if I could only keep one knife? All right, let's get started and go through these fairly quickly. I'm using my bandana to cover them up, and I'm going to try to uncover them one at a time, starting with the number 10 knife, which is the Spider Monkey by Southern Grind. The Spider Monkey, let me give you a little closer look at it. The Spider Monkey is a beautiful knife, has nice carbon fiber handle scales, and it's a great EDC knife. Deploys easily, and it's around $200 in price, or at least that's what I think I paid for it. So it came in at number 10. Number 9 is a new knife to the collection. This is the Klotzli Sarah. I just got it late in 2017, and this is strictly a gentleman folder for me. Very high quality, and I enjoy carrying it. I enjoy gentleman folders, but I will say that this is more of a single purpose knife, not dual purpose. The next knife is a knife that's very similar in function to the Sarah. It's very similar in quality. Both are high quality knives, but this is the small Sebenza made by Chris Reeve. Both are very high quality knives. I think the small Sebenza ranks higher just simply because of function. It's a little, I have a more secure grip to it, so it's not so much a single purpose knife. It is a gentleman folder, but it also can serve the role of a tactical knife in an emergency. All right, so that's 10-9-8. Number 7 is a larger knife, and this is one that you've seen a good bit in my top 10 knife list. This is the Benchmade 940. It's been in my collection a good while, and at one time when my collection was smaller, it was the number 1 knife, but it serves multiple purposes, and it's a high quality knife, medium value in terms of price, and I've always loved this knife. But it's dropped down in my list to the 10-9-8-7, number 7 slot. Okay, number 6. You've seen this knife a good bit. Let me move it over just a little, but this is another Klotzli. So Klotzli is in 2 positions in the top 10. This is the Klotzli Walker 05. It's a larger knife, about the same size as the Benchmade. It's higher quality. All the Klotzlis are extremely high quality knives, and it could serve a dual purpose, but I generally view it as a large gentleman folder, which is a category, I think it's the only knife in that category. Okay, number 5, we're working our way to the top. But number 5 is another new knife in the collection for 2017. I purchased that early in 2017, but that's the Benchmade Crooked River. I think it's very attractive, it's high quality. The price is probably about half the price of the Klotzli, so why did it beat out the Klotzli Walker 05? And I think it's simply because function over form. If I could only have one knife between these two, I would have to go with the Benchmade Crooked River because it serves more of a dual function for an everyday carry knife as well as self-defense. It's almost a folding camp knife. All right, so we're down to number 4. And what is number 4 in the collection? Okay, it's a knife that's been in the top 10 for a good while. This is the ZT-0561. This is a knife that I've had a good while, and it's always been in the top 5, I believe, in my collection, in my top 10. And I think it beats out the Crooked River simply because it's more secure in my hand. You know, so it serves more of a tactical role. It's also a great EDC knife. They're similar in size and similar in price. And so if I could only keep one, I think just from how secure it is in my hand, I would stay with the ZT. All right, number 3. So we're down to our top 3 knives in my collection for 2018. It's a Hinderer, and this is another new knife in my collection for 2017. But it broke its way into the top 10 in number 3 position. This is the Hinderer XM18. I love the blue color. It's more attractive, I think, than the ZT. It's a smaller knife, but it has plenty of blade to do anything that I want it to do. It's, you know, they're very similar in a lot of ways as far as how secure they are in my hand, but it comes in at a much higher price point. So in my way of looking at it, these are very similar knives. This is just higher priced, and so I put it in a top position. Number 2. Number 2 is a knife that you've seen a good bit in my top 10 knife videos, and that's the large Sebenza. It's a higher quality knife, I think, than the Hinderer. They serve similar purposes. I think this blade shape that Chris Reeves used for the Sebenza is more suited for general EDC as well as tactical. And I don't think many people think of the large Sebenza as a tactical knife, but it can serve that role. It's not as secure in my hand as the Hinderer, but because of attractiveness of the knife as well as serving dual roles, this I put over that Hinderer. But number 1 in my knife collection for 2018, it's the same knife that made the collection in 2017, the top knife for 2017, and this is the Hinderer XM24. This knife will stay in the number 1 position for a good while until I can find a knife that does everything this knife does. I have large hands, and my hand fits this knife better than any knife in my collection. It's very secure with that the guard right there. I love the blade shape. This clip point blade can do some detail work if I need it, as well as almost be a camp knife if I needed it for that. This knife just does everything for me, and if I could only have one knife in my collection, it would be the XM18. Now, like I say, I went through every single knife in my collection and ranked them from the very best, which is the XM18, down to the one that I would let go first. And I thought you might be interested in what that knife is. Which knife would I let go first of all? Well, I have it right here, and it's the Cutco Sportsman's knife. This is a knife that I still use. So I use just about every knife in my collection. This one I use out in the yard when I'm just doing yard work to cut shrubbery or whatnot, do some pruning. But this knife, it's not a cheap one, but it's one of the very first knives that I got. And for different reasons I won't go into, this is the knife that I would let go first. But there you have it, my top 10 knives for 2018 and the one I would let go first. Y'all take care.